More details. Meanwhile, folks, Hillary Clinton bashing her 2016 primary opponent, Bernie Sanders, in a new documentary saying he was in Congress for years and nobody likes him. Nobody wants to work with him. He got nothing done. He was a career politician. In an interview with The Hollywood Reporter, Clinton also slamming the 2020 Democratic candidate on sexism accusations and wouldn't say if she would endorse the Vermont senator if indeed he was actually the nominee. Joining me now to discuss the Daily Caller's Stephanie Hamill, along with liberal radio host and attorney Ethan Behrman. Ethan, the progressives are at it again. The Dems are at it again. What the heck is going on?
Well, I mean, this is an interesting one. There are obviously large quantities of hard feelings dating back to 2016 between Hillary and Bernie. But she's right. You can't actually argue with much that Secretary Clinton said there. Bernie Sanders is not a Democrat. He's a communist socialist who happens to jump on the Democratic Party bandwagon during the election years. Look, he's not building the party to win in 2020, and that's what she's really pointing out here. We need to focus on the candidates who truly are Democrats, who really have a chance of winning against Donald Trump in 2020.
Stephanie, he might have jumped on the bandwagon, but now he is the locomotive. He is setting the agenda. He has definitely taken the Democratic Party further to the left, and it feels like, somebody is threatened by him, and it might be the elites inside the party who don't want someone like a Bernie to change everything.
Absolutely, Charles. I'm looking at this as a basket of deplorables moment for Hillary Clinton. Again, she's insulting a lot of the people that are part of the Democratic Party, even though they're considered the far leftists. I was looking at Twitter, and some of these Bernie Sanders supporters were saying, "Am I nobody?" And Bernie Sanders is a top-tier candidate, so obviously he has support. Hillary Clinton seems to have problems with facts, right? And if you look at the fundraising, Bernie Sanders has support coming in, grassroots support coming in, and the other candidates can't compete with him when it comes to fundraising. So Hillary Clinton, I think she owes an apology to a lot of these people on the left. I saw other Democrats who are just more of the moderate Democrats who were also upset about this, because at the end of the day, the Democratic Party has one goal, and that's to defeat President Trump. So everything that Clinton is saying obviously shows that she's in it for herself, and she doesn't really care about the Democratic Party.
Well, in the meantime, the big news yesterday, folks, the New York Times endorsing two Democratic presidential candidates. The editorial board defending its choice to support two women with, by the way, very different platforms. We're talking Senators Elizabeth Warren and Amy Klobuchar. Ethan, I couldn't get it. I mean, it felt like, they wanted to be woke and they wanted to have a woman, so they said, let's go with both. And they tried to explain one was their moderate choice, one was their progressive choice. What do you make of that?
Well, first off, I mean, I have tremendous respect for both Senators Klobuchar and Warren. I've been following Senator Klobuchar's entire career as originally a native Minnesotan.
But they're two completely different candidates, aren't they?
They're very different. And I actually was disappointed in the New York Times, because I get to cast one vote for who I'm voting for in the primary coming up here in California. I can't vote for both. I have to make a choice. Why can't they? I thought that was terrible on their part.
Stephanie, it felt like it was more of some people thinking maybe it was more of an anti-man thing, because it's hard to distinguish Sanders and Warren. Their ages aren't that different, but they pointed to his age and his health issues.
Yeah, I think that's definitely a little bit of identity politics, if you will. They wanted to support the women candidates, but of course they forgot all about Tulsi Gabbard. Look, this was really confusing, even for Democrats, because as Ethan just mentioned, they only get one vote. But how important is a New York Times endorsement? Really not that important. They endorsed Hillary Clinton back in 2016, so it really probably doesn't make that much of a difference.
Okay.
But I think this is going to continue to divide the party and make things more confusing for voters.
I'm sure there's a lot of cocktail parties yesterday in Manhattan and in the Hamptons, Stephanie, where this was all they talked about. Stephanie, Ethan, thank you both very much.
Thanks, Charles.
Thanks, Charles.
Hey, folks.